In this next video, we'll be looking at the U-2 spy plane crisis and the effect it had on the Paris Peace Summit. By the late 1950s, the relationship between the two superpowers was relatively calm. Khrushchev and Eisenhower pursued a quiet policy of peaceful coexistence, even though their ideologies remained opposed. However, their domestic political situations demanded they be seen to defend their own countries against the other in the Cold War. Eisenhower was especially under pressure from American military leaders to build up the USA's reserves of nuclear weapons, especially after the USSR surpassed it in the space race with the launch of Sputnik. The American military constructed the idea of a missile gap between the US and the USSR, claiming that the Soviets were ahead in the arms race and the president should spend more money on weapons. They also wanted to spy on the Soviets, to discover evidence of the missile building. Eisenhower agreed to spy missions because he believed it would show that the missile gap did not exist. U-2 spy planes were one of the USA's most effective methods of gathering information. At a height of 23,000 meters, they were able to photograph the Soviet Union. Without being spotted or shot down, the planes provided valuable information about Soviet weapon development, but the flights violated Soviet territory and risked military response if spotted. On the 1st of May 1960, Gary Powers undertook his mission to fly from Pakistan over the USSR. Powers was unable to successfully complete his mission as the Soviet new anti-aircraft guns were able to shoot Powers' U-2 spy plane down. A huge crisis developed. The Americans claimed Powers' plane was gathering weather data and had accidentally strayed into Soviet territory. It was clear that this was a lie, and Powers was paraded on Soviet television and put on trial as a spy. The Soviets produced clear evidence that the plane was no weather plane, cameras and a suicide pill that Powers was supposed to have taken if he was about to be captured. This all happened days before a major peace summit involving US and Soviet leaders, due to take place in Paris. On the agenda were three things: nuclear weapons and the Test Ban Treaty. Both sides knew the destructive potential of the nuclear weapons and wanted to avoid turning more of the planet into radioactive no-go areas. Berlin. The Soviets were exasperated that East Berliners were escaping to the West in significant numbers. And Cuba. The Americans were concerned that the recent revolution in Cuba had created a communist government on their doorstep. Due to the U-2 crisis, the Paris Peace Summit ended in failure. There was no agreement on the Test Ban Treaty. The USA was embarrassed as it was shown to be using espionage and that it had lied about the U-2's mission. They no longer held the moral high ground in the Cold War. No deal was reached over the future of Berlin or Cuba, so both would remain major sources of tension between the superpowers. The relationship between the USA and the USSR deteriorated, even further heightening tensions in the Cold War. Khrushchev demanded an apology from Eisenhower for the U-2 incident, which Eisenhower refused to give. This meant that the Paris Peace Summit was a failure because Khrushchev left before anything could be decided.